Good evening. This is just in memoration of my teacher, my friend, and my mentor. I can say that freely. I don't claim anyone to be my mentor. I really don't, other than the Holy Spirit. But I say Dr. Myles Munroe. He really is. This past Sunday, he went on to be with the Lord, and I had a lot of reservations about how it happened. But I learned not to question God on anything, and but the impact that he has had on my life is really phenomenal. I know of many leaders, been around many leaders and other leadership, but none has nowhere came close than Dr. Munroe. When my wife and I was married before, but when my wife and I, Arlene, got married, it was the day one that the revelation God moved in my life through Dr. Myles Munroe. I didn't have that theological background. My education came from Howard University and Brooklyn College. But I knew it was time for me to move, and I didn't really know. From the time my wife and I, Arlene, got married, in 9, 10, 11, my life changed. She was assistant manager of the bookstore. I had one of Dr. Myles Munroe's books, and I read it. It built an appetite for me, just one book. So my wife, being the bookstore manager, assistant manager, started purchasing me all his books, and I read it like a hound dog chasing a fox. And it's not the type of books that he writes that you can read once. You have to go over it and over. And he really enhanced my life with his material. Now, unlike a lot of other individuals, I didn't meet him and always want to take a picture. You'll see a lot of individuals was so eager to meet him and take a picture of him and be on Facebook. That wasn't me. In fact, I told my wife, being the older people I saw wanted to take a picture of him, if I ever met him, I just want to meet him and say hi and greet myself, but never had that opportunity. But I wrote him an email, and he was in Ghana. Never forget this. And he wrote me back with so expeditiously that it shocked me. It was the next day. This man was in Ghana. He took the time to write me back. I had a question, and he answered my question, and he also took the time to wish my wife and I a happy anniversary. It was our first anniversary. Arlene and I have been married now over 3 years, and it feels like it's been 30 years. We've been so blended together. And I am a living witness of how you become one. Jesus said, you're no more twain. You're no more two. But when you get married and the Holy Spirit comes and both of you have it, you become one. And it's documented proof of my wife, Arlene. He wrote us, wished me a happy anniversary, and it blew my mind, really, to not lack for a better word. And I showed the email to my wife, and we printed it out. And since then, I wrote him, and he wrote me back right away, regardless of what he was doing. He wrote me back. Now, here's a man that's world renowned, And he took the time to address my letter. That meant something. I know a lot of prominent leaders, quote unquote, wouldn't have the time. Their secretary did it, but he wrote it. And it meant something to me. And it meant something to me to the point I never met him physically, personally, only through communication. But his character, his principles, all enhanced my life. His books, I learned to see the man. If you read his books, you're reading his character and his principles, how he was. And that means a lot, because you find a lot of individuals who don't meet the status of what they claim to be. But Dr. Myles Munroe was truly my friend and my mentor. And I only going to say that once only. I admired him tremendously. Now, his demise on this planet, came to as a shock to me. Yes, it did. But before his Chavez, his son, gave this address to the masses through on the 12th of this month, I felt the calm and peace that everything's all right. I mean, I had this one question in my mind, because I was following him, always following him. I was on his Facebook. I always got information, but it startled me. But God gave me a peace. Holy Spirit gave me a peace within myself to realize everything's good. Because prior to this, my wife and I received a prophetic message that there was going to be a drastic change. And it was for me. Excuse me. And I'm not the type of person that shed tears, not publicly. I believe in shedding when you have to, but publicly I don't do that. And I don't know why, it's just something within me. But I realize that God has his own way. I heard one person, my wife told me, said the devil took him. Please, people, don't get stupid. Don't get stupid. The devil is a creative being. God created him, and he screwed up. He messed up. So he doesn't have no power like that. So just forget about that. But I just want to put this out there about Dr. Munroe. He's one of the greatest leaders, if not the greatest leader that I've known on this planet, personally. A man of integrity, character, principles. And he lived what he spoke about. He lived what he spoke about. So I just want to say that, and just to keep in mind the impact that he had on my life. And I pray that the impact that he had on my life and the things that I've learned, and I'm constantly reading and studying through the Holy Spirit, that I would have that type of positive impact on those who are listening to this right now, that your life will be more enhanced. Dr. Myles Munroe was a pure ambassador. He didn't give you his opinion. He gave you what the gospel of the kingdom was. And thus so am I. So I just want to mention to you, and just want to share that with you briefly. And all those that knew how I felt about him and his teaching, and you gave your condolences. My brother's gone. He's in a better place. He's in a better place. And I truly thank you for your consideration, even my daughter, and who knew how I felt about that. But I just want you to know that my brother's in a better place. And you know, when you see that happen to him, God, it just took him. His purpose was over. That's the only thing I can conclude. And I'm not going to try to make up something. Oh, this and that. I'm not that smart to know what God's going to do, and nobody else is. But I'm telling you about me, I'm not that smart to know. But I thank God he's given me to help me to finish, give me time to finish my purpose on this planet. And I pray that my purpose helps you to get to that maturity in the kingdom. You have a nice day, and thank you for listening.